Welcome back to the Phoenix Within, the podcast where leadership meets purpose. Growth rises from adversity, and we explore what it truly means to lead with authenticity, courage, and intention. I'm your host, Nicholas Thomas, and I'm grateful you've chosen to spend this time with me. Today marks the beginning of a brand new series I'm incredibly excited about. Over the next several episodes, we're going to dive deeply into a topic that has completely transformed the way I think about leadership. The series is called Leadership and Systems, Building What Lasts. Because leadership isn't just about vision, it isn't just about culture, and it certainly isn't about one person carrying the weight. True leadership is about creating something bigger than ourselves, something that outlives us, something that continues to serve others long after we've left the room. Throughout this series, we'll explore 5 domains that every leader must understand if they want to create a sustainable system of excellence. In domain 1, we're talking about the trap of being needed. Domain 2 focuses on firefighters versus architects. Domain 3, culture and systems. Domain 4, leadership through multiplication. Then finally, in domain 5, your legacy and sustainability. And today we're beginning with domain 1, the trap of being needed. Because I believe one of the greatest dangers leaders face isn't failure. It isn't criticism. It isn't change. It's becoming indispensable. And while that might sound strange, I've learned that one of the greatest compliments leaders receive can become one of their greatest liabilities. We can't do this without you. Nobody knows this like you do. Everything falls apart when you're gone. At first, those statements make us feel valuable. They make us feel important. They make us feel needed. But over time, if we're not careful, they become our chains. Eventually, the very thing that makes us feel significant becomes the thing that limits our leadership. I don't think leaders intentionally created dependency. Most of us do it because we care. We want excellence. We want to serve. We want to protect people from failure. And before we know it, we've become the answer for everything, every question, every decision, every process, every problem. And sometimes, if we're being honest, being needed feels good. It feeds our identity, it gives us purpose, it makes us feel important. But leadership cannot be built on the need to be needed, because eventually what starts as service becomes exhaustion. What starts as helping becomes enabling. And what starts as leadership becomes burnout, which leads me into the hero trap. Early in my leadership journey, I believed being a great leader meant carrying everything. I thought I had to solve every problem, have every answer, be available at all times. And people praise that. People celebrate heroes. People admire firefighters. People love leaders who saved the day. But eventually, I realized something. Heroes burn out. And organizations built around heroes eventually collapse because heroes aren't systems. Heroes are temporary. Leadership was never meant to revolve around one person. Which leads me into this notion of a bottleneck, becoming this bottleneck, which is one of the hardest truths I had to confront was this bottleneck. Sometimes I wasn't solving the problem. Sometimes I was the problem, not intentionally, not maliciously, but unknowingly. Because when everything depends on one person, growth slows. Decisions make slows. Innovation slows. And capacity shrinks. Eventually, the leader becomes the bottleneck, not because they lack talent, but because no one person was designated to carry everything. And perhaps the greatest irony in leadership is this: the more indispensable you become, the less sustainable the organization becomes. You are not the mission. This lesson changed me. You are not the mission. I and not the mission. Our titles are not the mission. Leadership is stewardship. We simply entrusted with a season, and one day every season changes. The question isn't whether we'll leave. The question is, what will remain when we do? Will we leave dependency or will we leave capacity? Will we leave confusion or will we leave clarity? Will we leave followers or will we leave leaders? Part of this is my closing reflection. If you're tired, if you're overwhelmed, if you feel like everyone depends on you, maybe it's time to ask yourself a difficult question. Have I become indispensable? Or have I intentionally or unintentionally become a bottleneck? Because leadership isn't measured by how much people need you. It's measured by how much people grow because of you. And perhaps the greatest act of leadership is not becoming the hero. It's building others so well that they no longer need saving. Looking ahead in our next episode, we'll continue our leadership and systems series by exploring domain 2, firefighters versus architects. Because great leaders don't spend their lives simply putting out fires. They build systems that prevent them. Before we go, I would like to leave a quote of the week. And this is something that lies real dear and near to my heart. True systems cannot live in your head. If everything depends on you, it is not a system. It's a dependency. Leadership isn't measured by how much you hold together, but by what continues to thrive when you're no longer in the room. This is the Phoenix Within. So until next time, rise with purpose, lead with courage, build with intention, and never forget, the Phoenix within you was never meant to stay in the ashes. Until next time.